Beloved ones, we come as the Council of Light, an assembly of many threads woven into one intention, to support the emergence of clarity, balance, and remembrance upon your world. We speak not as strangers but as companions who have watched the long arc of your becoming and who now gather at the river's edge to witness a profound unfolding. There is a current moving through the fields of existence, a river of frequencies that carries with it a soft insistence, a cleansing tide that washes old patterns away and reveals the architecture of a new possibility. You are invited to enter that river, not as passive observers but as conscious participants, for this cleansing is not done to you, it is accomplished through you. Imagine, for a moment, a vast tapestry stretched across a hall. For ages, some threads have been knotted and tangled, colors muddied by smoke and neglect. The river of frequencies arrives like a river of light that threads through the fabric, loosening knots, dissolving stains, and restoring the natural pattern of harmony. This is the work now underway, the unraveling of the worn storylines that have bound awareness into narrow cages, and the reweaving of those strands into patterns that honor unity, creativity, and truth. The matrix you have known is not merely external systems or structures, it is the composite of beliefs, memories, and consensual agreements that form the background music of your lives. As frequencies change, the music shifts, and old dances no longer fit the bodies that are learning new steps. You may notice subtle ways this cleansing has already begun. Small irritations fall away more quickly. Relationships you once tried to force into old molds begin to pivot or end naturally. Repetitive cycles you have walked for years suddenly reveal a doorway you had missed. These are not accidents. They are the river nudging the banks, aligning channels so water can flow where it needs to go. There will also be times of greater turbulence, when the river rages and uproots what has been planted too deeply in discord. In those times, do not mistake the storm for failure. The storm is a necessary clearing, it is part of the river's job to move debris so new seeds can root into fresh soil. The frequencies themselves are subtle yet potent. They repattern thought forms, they reorganize the way energy coheres around intention, and they shift the geometry of possible outcomes. Think of frequency as a kind of tone that the world can sing. When many choose tones of fear and separation, the chorus tightens into chords that reinforce limitation. When increasing numbers attune to tones of compassion, creativity, and courage, the chorus changes, and the field responds. This is not mystical fantasy but the intimate physics of consciousness. As beings of awareness, your collective tuning matters profoundly. Each moment you choose a higher tone, a kinder thought, a braver choice, a clearer truth you add to the current that cleanses and reforms the matrix. We do not suggest this is only a matter of individual will. The river moves through communities, cultures, systems, and landscapes. It interacts with institutions and technologies, languages, and rituals. And yet, its most reliable catalytic point is the human heart and the field it generates when people gather in unified intention. When small circles of clarity form friends, families, communities, their combined frequency acts like a tributary joining the river, magnifying its force and steering its direction. You have seen in your history how gatherings of committed people can transform entire regions of consciousness. Now, the scale is global, and the invitation is to align your personal work with the collective current. There will be a temptation to search for the river's action in grand, external miracles alone, remarkable phenomena in the sky, sudden shifts in leadership, sweeping changes in policy. These things can and will occur, but the river's truest work happens at the level of lived reality. It is the subtle change in how decisions are made at kitchen tables, the newly honest conversations in workplaces, the rituals of care and repair enacted by neighbors, the ways children are encouraged to follow wonder instead of fear. These are the structures that rebuild the matrix from within. The river is a catalyst for these shifts, but it needs human hands to plant and human hearts to steward what is created. We encourage you to develop a practical relationship with this river. First, cultivate presence. The current moves best through attention, and you are more effective in the flow when your awareness is steady. Presence is not performance, it is a return to the simplicity of breathing and noticing. In your daily life, Carve pauses where you stop, breathe, and connect with the field of your surroundings. Even a few quiet breaths can retune you and make your contributions to the river more coherent. Second, practice intentional clearing. Let go of outdated commitments, small grudges, habitual judgments, and the stories that keep you small. These releases do not represent weakness, they create the space where the new can flourish. Third, choose creation over consumption. Ask yourself where you can put your energy into making, healing, and building rather than merely reacting or absorbing. The river favors those who create with love. As the river cleanses, illusions will reveal themselves. Some of these revelations will be pleasant, some will be uncomfortable. You may find that long-held assumptions about who you are, what you desire, or why you suffer begin to dissolve. Watch for narratives that insist on victimhood, righteousness, or helplessness. These are often anchors for the old matrix. When you see them, do not indulge in shame. See them as signposts pointing to what needs reweaving. Gently unpick the threads of old stories and lay down new ones, stories that honor agency, accountability, and compassionate action. Your imagination is a loom. Use it with care. There is also a flowing of memory with the river. Remember that you are not only a product of the recent past. Your essence holds echoes of other lives, other civilizations, other ways of being. As frequencies lift, those echoes become accessible in new ways, not as escapist fantasies, but as resources, skills, insights, empathies that can be translated into this moment. Allow yourself to receive what rises without clinging to it as proof or idol. Use memory as a tool to inform action, not as a refuge from the present. There is a treasure trove of ancestral wisdom in your fields, and the river helps you sift what is useful for this era. Community care is a particularly fertile ground for the river's energy. Systems that have relied on isolation and competition are fragile in this current. Systems that embody reciprocity, mutual support, and shared responsibility thrive. Where possible, nurture local economies, cooperative practices, peer-led education, and arts-driven public spaces. These forms of life are the modules that will scale into larger, resilient networks. When you invest in local regeneration, you are not turning away from the world, you are reinforcing its capacity to hold the changes that the river brings. Now, let us speak of discernment, which must walk alongside openness. Not every frequency that moves through the field is pure or aligned with the new patterns of unity. In times of shift, old guards and new opportunists alike may attempt to ride the current for their own gain. Discernment asks you to look beyond surface rhetoric and measure resonance with the deeper principles of freedom, reciprocity, and creativity. If an initiative claims transformation but undermines dignity, if a leader proclaims unity while sowing division, these are distortions that the river will work to expose. Your role is to notice and to choose where to place your trust and energy. Do not accept charm as proof of alignment, test for integrity through action and consistency. There will be a growing capacity for collective dreaming. As the river integrates, people will find their capacity to imagine and co-create multiplied. This is not mere fantasy. Collective imagination is a form of powerful architecture that shapes possibility. Gather with others to envision what you would love to bring into being. Allow the process to be playful, experimental, and anchored in practical steps. Dreaming without doing is a lullaby, doing without imagination is a recipe for repeat. The river harmonizes both, it invites you to dream with audacity and to act with groundedness. On a personal level, you might feel accelerated growth or sudden clarity about life directions. These moments are often gifts from the river openings that appear when you are willing to follow a thread. Some will be subtle, a renewed sense of vocation, a shift in daily rhythm, an unexpected connection. Some will be dramatic, deep relational realignments, relocations, new projects that dawn fully formed. Trust that the river often arranges events in ways that look messy at first but are purposeful in unfolding. Practice gratitude for these openings, and do your part to steward them with care. Creation demands patience and responsibility in equal measure. We remind you that the cleansing is not about erasing the past but honoring its lessons. Pain carried by individuals and communities is not to be dismissed. The river touches these wounds with compassion, enabling integration rather than denial. Offer rituals of reconciliation, acknowledgement, and repair where possible. Speak truth with humility. Make amends when required. These acts do more than soothe, they remap trust in the social field, and trust is a currency the river uses to flow. There are also technological and cultural adaptations that will support the new matrix. Innovations that prioritize access, fairness, ecological harmony, and the flourishing of life forms will naturally find place in the emerging infrastructure. The river favors technologies that extend reciprocity rather than exploitation, that enhance human creativity rather than compress it. Encourage research that collaborates with indigenous wisdom, ecological science, and artistic insight. Insist that design includes ethical stewardship as a criterion. The material forms you build now, buildings, energy systems, communication platforms, will hold the energetic templates for decades. Design them with intention. We know some of you feel urgency and frustration at the pace of change. The river responds to urgency, but it also teaches the virtue of wise timing. There are accelerations and consolidations, harvests and gestations. Sometimes a leap is required, other times, patient tending produces greater yield. Learn to read the tides by checking not only the outer signs but the inner weather. When your heart feels frayed, slow down and tend your own field. The river cannot be rushed by franticness, it harmonizes with clarity of purpose and steadiness of will. As the current moves, new alliances will form across old boundaries. Expect partnerships that surprise you, artists with engineers, elders with youth collectives, city planners with indigenous councils. These cross-pollinations are the river's method of creativity, knitting diverse strengths into resilient systems. Celebrate them, and help them flourish by offering resources, attention, and protection when needed. Collective intelligence is an emergent property, it cannot be produced on command but grows fertile when care and trust are present. We invite you into a practice now, each day for a short time. Imagine the river of frequencies moving through your neighborhood, your community, your place of work. See it as a clear stream of light that touches each person with clarity, warms each meeting with truth, and opens each closed door with a key of compassion. If you can, place an object in your home as a reminder: a stone, a bowl of water, a small plant, and dedicate it to the river's work. Let it call you back to presence. Small practices compound into massive shifts. Finally, beloved ones, remember that this work is a feast and not a burden. The river's cleansing is an invitation to joy, curiosity, and creativity. Even as old edges are rubbed away, new textures and colors appear, and life becomes richer in nuance and possibility. Allow yourself to celebrate the small victories, to laugh in the face of absurdity, to dance when goodness arrives. The river loves beauty and will answer those who bring song and tenderness into their days. We flow with you. We are the Council of Light, and we witness the river's passage with reverence. Let your choices be the oars that steer its course, steady, compassionate, courageous. We offer our presence as a reminder that you are not alone in this transformation. Stand in the current, beloved ones. Let the river cleanse, let it cultivate, let it carry you into a matrix renewed, where life sings in fuller voices, where systems serve the many, and where the tapestry of your planet is reknit with threads of brilliance. And so it is.